AMG family, Mondo here. Hey, just wanted to make sure real quick before we get started that you guys have subscribed to the AMG Podcast channel. Go below if you can't see it, look a little, scroll down, whatever you got to do. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us immensely here at the AMG Podcast. The second thing we need you to do is turn on your notifications. That way, anytime we drop new content, you are the first to be notified. That way we can grow together. We can learn in life together and do life together. All right. So with that said, let's get to it. Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Mondo here with the AMG Podcast. Boy, I'm excited today. Man, we've got a phenomenal person, a human being joining us for a great conversation. This is my brother, my friend, my guy, my colleague, my whatever, man. One of my ride or dies I've acquired in life, man. This is my dude. He was started off as a colleague, became a friend of mine, and our families are, have spent some time together at the Disney area. Where was that? Oh, first of all, before I get into questions for you, man, this is my guy, Mike Medley. What's up, homie? What's going on, man?
Hey, Mondo, what's going on, my man?
Oh, bruh. Woo. So happy to have you here, man. This is going to be a great conversation, man. And I can't wait for people to get to know you, right? Get to know you, hear from you, even learn from you, man. You're a guy with a lot of knowledge and experience, and we're going to dig into it. But as I was saying, where was that, man? Because we got to tell people about that real quick. We were at Disney somewhere.
Disney Springs, and then we went into Rainforest Cafe for some dinner and came out to like a torrential downpour.
Yeah, and we had to walk like a mile to the bus in the
forever.
rain, holding toddlers.
Like mad kids.
Bruh. We got so wet, you get so wet outside. What you just like, you know what? Screw it. I don't even care anymore. Like you just like you commit in a swimming pool. You just like, I'm wet. It is what it is, right? It was like that just walking outside. Like, you know what? I'm about to get pummeled.
I mean, some of the cool stuff about the Florida weather, though, is even when you get pummeled, it's still warm outside.
Yeah, and I think it was a point where when we got to our cars, it had stopped raining. There's nothing more that could have pissed me off.
That's how it always goes.
Yeah. It was like a perfect drive home. We're in the car smelling like wet dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Terrible. Anyway, enough of our crap, man. Hey, you know what? I want to get into Mike Medley, man. I want to first of all tell everybody who's here watching this, who is Mike? Like, give us a quick backstory. Where are you from, man? A little bit quick story of how you got into the insurance industry.
Absolutely. So what's going on, people? My name is Mike Medley. Raised in Connecticut, great childhood, family, friends, and I just have the joy of being a Jamaican and having the Jamaican culture with all this family that has helped nourish me to grow.
Yeah.
And with that, and like with that being said, I just take that in stride. No matter what you're doing, nobody's going to get a free pass. You got to work for whatever that you want, whatever you obtain. And that's kind of something that I've just taken from watching, my family, my dad, my aunts and uncles, all the elderly when I was a little youth, and just kind of watching their direction, man. And, looking back now, I'm almost 50 and I'm looking at where they are. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So like, when I was a kid looking up to them, now I'm an adult and I'm seeing where they're at. And I'm like, what they did worked. Right.
Nice. Yeah, man. Yeah. So a family of people with phenomenal work ethics. And I would imagine because of how you are, people that are very kind and giving, compassionate. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. I could tell that's what you come from, man. Because everything you're saying makes sense. I'm like, yep. Knowing you, man. I'm like, yep, that makes sense. Yep, that makes sense. Okay.
And then I've got a wonderful wife, three glorious kids that I would do anything for, along with my wife, obviously. But the cool thing is me getting in this industry is I come from a restaurant background. I spent about 20 years, whether I started like serving, then tending bar, and then, I moved up into management. and it was a blessing in disguise, you know. Uh, the fact that I've developed these skills that I can adapt to kind of whatever the circumstances are around me and the
Sure.
people.
Sure.
So so it just kind of makes it easy for me
Hmm.
with my previous experiences just to be able to talk to people and
Nice.
read them. And everybody's
Yeah.
got a different story and a different path and a different direction. So I'm blessed, man. I'm thankful for all those bumps and bruises along the way,
Yeah, man.
you know.
What I'm seeing here in my notes, you have a sports or athletic background, correct?
I do. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and it was lacrosse, right?
Yep.
Tell me about that, because that was the I ain't gonna hey brother to brother, that was not the sport I was expecting to hear, but
uh,
but I love it.
yeah, yeah. You know, it's and you rewind that, you know, I was raised in Connecticut
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know, I grew up playing baseball, football,
sure.
basketball, right?
Yep, yep.
And it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I just happened to play some baseball with some guys that their parents were like, "Hey, you should try playing lacrosse."
Mm,
And honestly, like that little belief, you know, I mean, I started playing lacrosse when I was in third grade, and I
okay,
mean, I was double dipping playing lacrosse and baseball in the same season up until about ninth grade.
okay,
Um,
yep.
but you know, lacrosse gave me an opportunity to get some free education for college. I
Nice.
coached collegiate lacrosse and all these other things. I'm actually currently coaching a U12 lacrosse team right now. You
Okay,
know,
see, okay, so all your competitive nature, that makes sense. And let's go and keep it real, man. Keep it 100, right? I definitely believe your baseball and lacrosse experience, your family and how cultured you all are, gave you the ability, empowered you to be able to speak to any kind of person that you encountered,
yeah.
which plays into what you said earlier. You said it, in a way where it's led to part of your success. You can adapt to many
Mhm.
different environments. That's phenomenal, bro. So you then fast forward to what you said. You were in the restaurant business for 20 years. It was so
Yeah.
serving, bartending, stuff like that, right?
Yep. Well, you know, the first, you know, five, I was serving, bartending,
Okay.
um, and then you know, bar manager, kitchen
Got it.
manager,
Got
assistant
it.
general manager. You know, moving on up. You know, like the Jeffersons a little bit.
So what in the world, like, how does that translate to the financial industry, specifically insurance industry? What happened? Like, what was that hard pivot for you? Like, what was going on?
You know, life, bro, life. I was in a sticky situation at work, and it just wasn't meshing,
Okay.
right?
Yep. Yep.
And thankfully, somebody from the insurance business had been observing me for several days because this
Mm.
gentleman was staying in the hotel that was attached to the restaurant,
Okay.
and
Yep.
and this gentleman, you know, and I'm gonna give him his props where it's due. Charles Drinkard, okay.
Okay. Yep.
Uh,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
he brought me in the business and gave me this opportunity, and
I love it. That's my
and
dude. Yeah. Yeah.
I exited stage left from the restaurant business. And
Hmm.
Mondo, you're gonna love this. I came home from work one day. And I told my wife, I said, "Hey, babe." She's like, "Yeah, what's going on?" I was like, I'm about to quit the restaurant and go into insurance." She said, "What?"
Dun dun dun. Buckle up, Buttercup. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So you know, it was a rocky road. I got licensed, and then 2 weeks later, you know, boom, the pandemic hit. So
Oh, are you for real?
absolutely.
Wait, okay. So you had like, hey babe, I'm quitting the restaurant. I'm going to get this insurance game. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna kill it. I met this guy at boom, boom, boom. And then you like, I studied to get my license, and then
Hmm.
pandemic hit right upside the head.
Upside the head.
Oh man. Okay.
And
All right.
you know, the state of Pennsylvania was shut down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I heard, yeah.
So my manager said at the time, he said, "Well, you need to go to Delaware, a whole entirely different state, which is about 3 to 3.5 hours just to get there."
Okay.
Now, you know, you say that to a brand new agent that doesn't know anything. I'm like looking around. I'm like, is he serious right
What's this?
now?
This
Like,
guy smoking something brand new. Cause I ain't never heard of mess like that. Yeah, I got you. Yep, yep.
but you know, Mondo, man, you know, as we talk about adapting,
Yeah, sure.
number one, you know, I'm the man of the house.
Right.
Number two, if I got to make ends meet and I got to go drive 3.5 hours one way,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'll sign up. I'll take
You do
care
what
of
you
it.
gotta do. You do what you gotta do. That's right, man. That's right.
Yeah.
I love it. So,
So
okay.
I
So
spent.
now you're in the business as the pandemic, and
Mhm.
specifically, you were in the final expense industry,
Yep.
and you were doing your thing, going to Delaware and all that. And obviously, you made it. We see the beautiful trophies behind you. We see your helmet that you probably just received from a trip to Italy, which is fantastic, right? I do need to see you in public wearing that. By the way, I do need to see that. But
It will happen.
yeah, I know. Knowing you, it will happen. You're right. So one thing I think we should address though is how important to you family support, your wife being on board, your children, the intentionality to make sure that your new business venture is going to work. Can you talk about some of the things that you guys were intentional about, you put in place to make sure that this insurance business worked for the Medleys? What are some of the things you guys did, and how important is that to you?
Well, first of all, we didn't put anything in place at first because we didn't really know what we were doing.
Got it.
Uh,
Yep.
to be perfectly honest. Um, but first and foremost, my wife, we got these personalities, right? I believe in certain things, and she says, "Okay," and 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 listen, that's all the support I need. That's
Oh,
all the
okay.
support I need.
This. Do you know what,
That
bro? Props to Mrs. Medley.
yeah,
That's the nod of I don't get it, but I got your back. I'm your ride or
y-
die. That's that.
yes,
That's exactly. Is that what that meant to you?
that 2000%.
Got it. Yep. Okay.
She's like, okay. and
Yep.
and we made some adjustments during the pandemic. She actually quit her job
Okay.
because of the circumstances. She had to be at work and the kids were not in school yet. So, we couldn't send them to daycare because daycares were shut down.
Got it. Yep. Hmm.
So things in place were I had to put on my big boy pants quick,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
we couldn't send this kids to daycare, and I had to drive 3.5 hours to go find work. So I put,
Okay. Well, that's what I'm asking. See, so that's what I was getting at. You said, well, maybe you didn't do it with the idea of, okay, we're an insurance business. We got to put a system in place. No, you guys were just adapting as you've done your whole life, it seems. You were adapting to the circumstance. So here's one thing that she gave you the I don't get it, but I support you nod.
uh-huh.
Then she said, I'm gonna show you that I'm a ride or die. I'm gonna come home and take care of the babies. That empowers
Hmm.
you to go get it. I'm gonna quit my job and come home.
Hmm.
So these moments of pivoting were obviously crucial to the Medley success, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So at what point did you feel like the insurance industry was like, man, this is it? Like, how long did it take for you to figure out, like, man, I'm actually pretty good at this? Like, how long did it take, man?
Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, if you're a final expense agent and you're new and you haven't thought about quitting 13 times in 12 hours, then you're probably not trying hard enough, right? And what I mean by that is it's a grind, man.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
And when did I figure out that I was good at it? It took about a year.
Okay. So talk about that first year then, because that's usually when most people quit in the final expense
Yep.
business, right? Or maybe just in sales in general, but in our industry, because we know of it. What made like why did you cut the mustard and a lot of people don't? You know what I mean? Like what's special about you?
Uh, I'm not a quitter, bro. I've never quit anything in my life.
My
Uh,
man.
it's just not in my DNA to give up on something that I said that I was going to do. Um, and
Oof.
that's the same conversation that I'm having with my 13-year-old right now with soccer. We
Yeah.
don't start something that we don't finish.
Yeah.
And if you quit once, you're going to continue to quit.
Mm-hmm.
So not only is it about providing for my family,
Yep.
but it's also about being that picture of the man that's supposed to be providing for the family.
My guy. Okay. My man. Dude, this could turn into like a let's be a man talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does it look like when a rubber meets the road to take care of your family? How to not punk out. Uh,
Hmm.
shameless plug. I think you'll love this book. You probably know of it because it's you already know about this, but It's you probably bought it. Mondo's book, Get Your Balls
Get
Back.
your get your balls back. I know, bro. Listen,
Hey, man.
some people gotta look around and be like, "Those were mine." Like, yeah, you gotta go get them back, bro. You gotta
Yep.
go get them.
That's as it or grow some.
Hmm.
Or grow some. So dude, this is phenomenal, man, because at that first year, you said it wasn't secret sauce. It wasn't anything other than what's been instilled in you from your family, from your trials and tribulations, a great support system. And I would dare say, tell me if I'm wrong, that you're reinforced with that no quit, no give up, grit side of you because you have a ride or die wife.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I know she's got my back.
So just hypothetically, I know this is not the truth for y'all, but let's just say hypothetically, your wife wasn't on the same page. She just there
Ooh.
was let's just say she was bugging out and she wasn't supportive. She kind of gave you crap. You staying out too late. I don't want you driving 4 hours away. Where you been? This, that, and the other. You know, all these. Do you think it would have been possible for you to make it through that first year?
Practically impossible. Practically impossible. You can't do this alone. You're in the car by yourself, but you can't do it alone. And that's like that catch 22, right?
So the moral of the story is support is everything.
All in.
I've always called it pillow talk.
Hmm.
That pillow talk
Hmm.
is strong to the mud, bro. that pillow talk. That pillow talk. Hey, man, whoever's laying on your pillow has a louder voice than any manager, than any friend, than any whatever. You could go be macho with your dudes all day long, but
Hmm.
that pillow ain't no joke.
Listen, but that's what we need.
Yeah,
That's
that's true. You need that support,
that's
man.
yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, I think I've gone through this, and I think other people in all types of facets of work have gone through this. You
Yeah,
know, you need to hear what you need to hear. Period. Sometimes a manager, an upline, they don't tell you what you need to hear, right?
yeah.
And sometimes the agent also doesn't digest it and hear it what they say either. But that pillow talk, man, you get your wife telling you about yourself. You start looking at yourself in the mirror when you're in the
Yep.
bathroom. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, because if you're having a challenging day, would you agree? I remember this. If you're having a challenging day, whatever you hear at home becomes louder.
Hmm.
If you're having you got a spouse that's not supportive and you stop at a restroom at noon and you've been getting your ass handed to you the first half of the day,
Hmm.
and now that you look in that mirror when you're washing your hands, hopefully you're washing your hands, you're washing your hands, you're washing your hands, and you look in that mirror and you just in that voice you say you just everything that you heard you start looking at yourself and possibly even labeling yourself as what you heard this morning or on that pillow. But if it's
Hmm.
positive, if it's go get it, if she's helping you, what one of our friends used to say, like my wife, like, will put my cape on for the day. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
it's if you've got that person like go get it, it's you label yourself as that. Even when you've had a tough morning or tough day or tough week or tough month, you're constantly reminded of that, what you heard last night on that pillow, what you heard at the house. So I love that. And first of all, knowing you and your wife, man, your family, I mean, you guys obviously have a very tight union. And I can see, I wouldn't say why you're successful, but I can see a crucial piece of your success by how I see you two get down.
Thank you. We appreciate that. We try.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Aren't we all trying, bro? We all,
Yeah.
we all, yeah. And I don't think we all have, any of us have it figured out, but I think we're all on the good path though, and we're constantly pivoting and making adjustments. So moving on to my next little question here, man, because I got so much stuff I want people to know about you, man. Um,
Let's
what,
go.
what have you learned in the final expense business, which has been what now, 6 years, five
Yeah.
years,
5 years. 5 years.
5 years?
Final expense.
Okay. And we see the trophies behind you. So that means you're actually, pretty freaking good at this. They don't give out trophies to people who are trash. So you obviously been recognized by your company, by different people, this, that, and the other. What have you learned in the business about humanity, about people? And I mean, let me set you up a little better. I used to tell my wife when I would come home, I said, man, I didn't know this type or version of people or humans existed. Let me tell you what happened. Or I would say stuff like that. Or I would say, man, I met somebody so wonderful today. Or let me tell you about them. Or I met somebody so interesting today. And I don't know if it's good or bad. It was just very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would say, man, I met somebody crazy as you know what today. Let me tell you. But it was all over the spectrum and I had different. So that's what I mean. Like, I know I learned a lot, but we're not here to talk about me. What have you learned about humanity? Because we're all in our own bubble, and then you go and file an expense business, or especially file an expense, and you go on that, you get exposed to the tapestry, the full tapestry of humans. so, so, so tell us some of the things that you've extracted by working in the industry and dealing with human beings.
Oh man.
This could get juicy real quick.
So humans are humans, man. People are gonna be people, right? And kind of what I just learned from like insurance and most importantly, final expenses. Um, a couple things like so you can go to those people that their house is broken down, they have health issues, they have an oxygen thing to their nose and they're smoking a cigarette and they sent in the lead, right?
Right,
and,
right.
and we all know that they need it and they're like, nope, not interested. And you're like, but Miss Betty, like like
Right, right,
like
right.
you have there's that spectrum that that maybe they just don't care too much about others and they just care about
Well,
themselves. And that's okay.
so let's
Right?
pause there before you get the next one, because that's important. Like, it's like the
Mhm.
math is not mathing.
Mm-mm.
It's like it's. I've said this before to someone I know. Like, it's hard to have a rational conversation with an irrational individual.
Facts.
And not to be mean, this is the truth. And when someone is not in touch with their reality, it's hard to connect with them about that reality when they're ignoring it themselves.
Correct.
They put
And
the yeah, go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
and following up with what you said is one of the reasons of my success is showing that I care,
Got
right?
it. Yep.
But but exactly, we can't show we care if they're being irrational and unrealistic. And I mean, there's a part of them that sent it in that they know that they should be getting it, but maybe that was just checking off the box. I tried to get
Right.
insurance, you
Yeah. Well,
know.
they don't care for the same reason you care. And I don't say reason. What I mean is they some people care because they just want some company.
Hmm.
They don't care about the actual purpose of why you're there, and they see that you care to help them, but that's not really what they were looking for. You got some people when you because you care, you kind of dial in. You may see that okay, they care about it, but maybe for a different reason what I thought up front, right? And,
Correct.
and you caring, you're able to find out that reason and really dial in and help those particular individuals. And of course, that's not everyone. And there's some people that know why they contact the company and why they're going to get it and what's going on. And then you help, expound on that for them and help them expand their understanding by educating them and all that. But it's interesting when you get with people, right, Mike? And it just the math ain't mathing. It's like what conversation are we having right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, have you
Well,
had hey, have you had one, bro? Well, hey, Mr. Mike, yeah, I appreciate you coming by. I ain't gonna die no time soon. So hey, when I get sick, I'm gonna give you a call though. Give me your business card. You ever had that
yeah.
one?
Oh, have I? Yeah. And part and part of the growth, Mondo, is those people, they don't get my business card.
Oh, okay. Talk
I've
about
been
it.
in the I've been in the business long enough that listen, if it wasn't important to you when I was here, I sure as heck know it ain't gonna be important to you when I leave.
Man, what you said.
I'm
What you
just being, you
yeah.
know, that first year, do you know how many business cards I gave out? Oh, I'm gonna call you, Mike. Oh, here's my business card.
You
Hey,
you
call
open
you, Mike.
you open up a business card distribution business.
Yeah, and ain't nobody calling me back.
Yeah, baby, I handed out 200 cards today. I did good. How much money you
I
made?
did.
Nothing, but I handed out a lot of business cards. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and
Oh man.
that comment right there is just part of the growth of the business. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
at the end of the day, I'm here now, and I understand that people's schedules are people's schedules, right?
yeah.
Um, it might not be the best time, and I'm okay with that.
So
But
in
I'll make
so yeah, so you make it work though, man. I see that you've become a professional We've heard that word quite a bit versus I'm gonna just go out here, side hustle. No, this is your career. This is your business. This is what you take it very seriously and very intentional. But I would love to hear, man, from you and all your experience. You know, we can cut up and we could talk about humanity and different types of people, but let's talk about maybe a beautiful story. One of the wonderful families that you've helped, where it connected with you that what I do matters. A beautiful story where what you were able to provide, the service, the product, and then when you saw where it was game time and somebody passed.
Oh yeah.
Can you share a story of like the fulfillment that you had when that phone call was made to you?
Yeah. This story, it's a part A, and then I'm gonna slide in a part
Sure.
I'm sorry, start start with part one, and then we're gonna go to part 1A because it goes together.
Got it. Yep.
So several years ago, I went to a lady's house. She sent in a program eligibility request for some insurance. She lets me in. It goes great, right?
Mhm.
Um, she's final expense, which is like, which means like day one coverage for the company that I worked for. Um, and uh, and then 6 months later, she passes away
Okay.
unexpectedly.
Okay.
Okay. Um, so the family calls me, her granddaughter, um, and another daughter, they call me. The company, they pay out within like a week, right? Which is
Mhm.
amazing, which is amazing. But it gets better
Okay.
because about 3 years later, 2 years later, I get a lead for this woman and I go to her house. And as I'm sitting down with her, she's talking to me about how her daughter passed away 2 years ago, and her family got 35,000, and she was so thankful for that. And I looked at
Mhm.
the lady. I said, "Was your daughter's name Judy?" And she looked at me. She goes, "Yeah, it was. How'd you know that?"
Mhm.
I said, "Mrs. Whatever, I was the agent that wrote that policy for your daughter."
Wow.
I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about this. I mean,
Yeah.
we cried, we hugged, we cried some more, right? She was
Mhm.
over the moon thankful for
Yeah.
the professionalism, the quick promptness with the payout,
Mhm.
the lack of hiccups,
Yep.
and then last but not least, she was overjoyed with the fact that she had a chance to meet me, right, face to
Mhm.
face,
Yeah.
under these different circumstances because I'd never met her before. Um, so that's a really, really touching story just because
Mm.
as she's crying to me about the passing of her daughter,
Mhm.
it just reiterated the fact of why I'm here, what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and to keep going forward, right?
Wow.
Providing
Wow.
that umbrella protection.
So here's why I asked you that, man. And we can dig into this because I've got two more questions for you afterwards. That story is so impactful, man, because I know for me, when I got my first death claim, everything colored in. I feel like when you're an agent in the beginning and you're just trying to get your legs underneath you, you're trying to figure it out. It's almost like, and walk with me here. It's almost like a wireframe coloring book that's just black and white. You're just
Hmm.
trying to figure out what is this picture? What's the point? Like, where's this going? It, can I even do it?
Right.
Can I stay in the lines? Can I? And it's just a lot of wonder,
Hmm.
sometimes even worry. But then when you realize that the point of all this is not here, it's what it looks like when it comes to fruition.
Yep.
When it's all colored in by what? The policy being written, the premiums being paid, and the insured passing away. And then when that all three of those things happen, you start seeing the colors become more and more vivid within that black and white wireframe.
Hmm.
You start seeing, oh, that's where all this was leading. That's the purpose of okay. It Wow. So if I had never done the wireframe for them, there would never be this beautiful picture story.
Hmm.
So me providing this wireframe picture and just say, hey, stay in the lines, pay your premium. If you lose a crayon, give me a call. I'll get you a new one.
Hmm.
We need to adjust the picture. We can do it. But just hold on, because when it's time, that thing's going to color in, and you're going to
Hmm.
see why we did this. Now, your family's going to see it. Or if you're insuring someone else, ma'am, you may see why we're covering your husband. And
Yep.
when you sit in that grieving with them and that reality, dude, it hits different. You and Mike, right? We talked about it earlier. Like, you feel like, man, I matter in this industry. I matter to these families.
My purpose. Yep.
My purpose. And I'll tell you, man, if you're doing the business the right way and you're checking in on people that you've written during their life and the family when they pass, and checking on folks, and you actually do life with your clients, if you don't feel that, you're a corpse.
Facts.
If you don't feel that, and see and feel what they're going through, and then also see, man, you know what? I can't fix death, but I can smooth the edges around the realities y'all going through because of the death.
Hmm.
And here you go. And I'm so glad I met you. I'm so glad I was able to do that. So thank you for sharing that, man, because there's so many little nuggets in there. Like the fact that you even said, man, we cried, we talked about it, and we cried some more. We hugged. Like, that's Mike Medley. Like, how many agents out there literally have relationships, Mike, with clients the way you do? Or is it just churn and burn? Next, 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 next.
That's not me. That's not
Obviously,
me.
obviously,
You know,
obviously, yeah.
um, the thing about this business is, it's a long-term game, and I plan to be here for the long term.
Hmm.
And that initial me sitting down with them, that's great. Thanks for the beginning of a long-lasting relationship.
There it is. Yes, sir. There it is. That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um,
Like, we
you
just
know,
got
and
booed up today. Like, we got business wise, we just got married business wise today. So we got a long marriage, right? That
yeah.
we ain't getting divorced. We, nope. We're going for the long haul. I love that approach, man. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. And I know a lot of agents, and some people might think that I'm crazy for saying this or doing this, but you know, my clients are also in my personal life, and I'm friends with 90% of them on Facebook. And you want to know what? When you look at my Facebook feed and you see
Hmm.
all these comments,
Hmm.
60% of them are my clients.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with it. But I know there's a lot of agents that would say, "Oh, you're friends with your clients."
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The way I see it, it's like you're like the insurance pastor. Like, if you talk to people and say, hey, are you friends with your pastor on Facebook? Well, of course. Then how
Yeah,
come as an agent we can't be friends with our people on Facebook or IG or whatever? You,
yeah, and it keeps you connected. That's the whole
it does.
purpose of it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
What if they lose your business card, or they lost their phone with your phone number in it? They know where to
Yeah,
find you.
every time.
On the good old, how one of my clients said it. Oh, the Facebook. She calls it the
The
Facebook.
the Facebook, yes.
Yeah. I can find you on the Facebook. Yes, ma'am. You can find me on the Facebook.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And,
exactly right.
and this is off subject, but remember what I told you? Like, so the first 10 months of my business, I worked in the state of Delaware.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I have one of my very first clients, Mondo, very first clients in Delaware has moved to Maryland. And this gentleman is probably 86 years old now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Guess who called me on the Facebook Messenger yesterday morning? My client, man.
My
You
man.
know,
That's,
and he's like, Michael, I miss you. So nice to talk to you. Like, this is my business. Listen, you're a
yeah.
client, you're my brother. You're a
Yeah.
client, you're my sister. You're a client, we cousins.
Yeah.
Because it's a family affair.
Oh, I love that. The heart that you put into your business is just, oh man, it's beautiful to see. You know, before I get into the last question, man, I want to sit on that, and let me give you a compliment, man. That's one of the things I love about you is your heart. you wear your heart on your sleeve, your shirt, your collar, your forehead, wherever, and that's a beautiful thing. You lead with it. Right. Yeah, it's weird to say you got a heart on your forehead, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that about you, man. And I truly believe that's a massive part of your success, on top of the grit, on top of the work ethic, on top of your business acumen and all those beautiful things, is because you care for people. You actually give a crap.
Yeah.
In our industry, and maybe even in sales. And I think sometimes it's definitely not everyone, but I will say the rotten apples can spoil the bunch, right? Where you
Mhm.
have some sharky agents out there. It's not a lot of people, but there's a small handful that just irritate the living piss out of me and other good agents, because you're maybe either not doing right by clients, or you're replacing policies that shouldn't be replaced, or
Mhm.
you're clean sheeting, which means lying on applications, and then families are getting claims denied when the person passes.
Mm.
There's some sharky folks out there, man, and it's refreshing to hear. There's a lot of great people writing business out there. Don't get me wrong. Not as many are as vocal as you are, or as expressive as you are. And I wanted to highlight that it's okay to be that way. I think some agents who are great people like you, who are talented, who are ethical, who are doing right by folks, they sometimes, I think the misconception is, I can't be like Mike, so to speak, because I don't know if that's acceptable. I
Right.
am wired like Mike Medley, but is it okay to care for my clients the way he does, with the tears, with the hugs, with the TLC, with the Facebook connections? And is that, I don't know. Hey, if you are like Mike, I'm gonna encourage you. It works for him. And if you have a heart like Mike, he's giving you the example that yes, you can run your business and treat your clients the way he does, and be very successful at it. So thank you, man, for being able to share that, because that's gonna help some people be comfortable being themselves, which we know Mike Medley is going to be himself. That we know.
Good or bad or ugly, right?
Good or bad or ugly, you going to be you, bro. We know
Yeah.
that. Oh, that's
Yeah.
dope, man. That is dope. So let me ask you this last question before we dip out, man. And this is kind of a two-partish. I want to talk about your personal growth, as a man, as a businessman, the evolution, kind of how you've seen yourself grow in the last 5.5, 6 years, and what have you learned about yourself, man? We've always heard that the quote that this business will tell the truth on you. We've heard that for years.
Mhm.
What are some truths that you have learned about the man in the mirror?
Oh man, I love that. I love that. Uh when I started, so I've always been a pretty confident person,
Hmm.
right? But when you start something new, um, as much as you want to say, "Oh, I'm gonna go out there and slay it," there's still that lack of confidence because you don't know the unknown out there, right?
Right, sure, right.
Um, so I think that as this business has what it's taught me is that number one, don't look in the rearview mirror.
Mm, okay.
Stop looking back. That's very important for me because sometimes uh, I'm guilty. Sometimes you hold on to things a little bit too long, and
Hmm.
and that's the stuff that drags you down. Those bad alleys that you don't want to be in.
Sure.
Um, but I think it's so important that that man in the mirror that you're looking at that you like,
Do you like him?
you gotta like yourself,
Mm,
and 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 that goes deeper than just this conversation. But you gotta like yourself some Mike Medley. You gotta like yourself some Mondo Grimes
right.
for your own personal for yourself for you to grow.
Yeah.
Um, and I think in this day and age, there's too much self doubt. We always question, oh, should we be doing this? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
Mm,
Uh, and I've learned that um, ask for forgiveness, but don't ask for acceptance. Go do the darn thing anyway. So
mm,
as I've grown in this business, it's um, keep growing, keep going, keep learning. Um, the second that you become complacent, that's when things start to go in the wrong direction. So
facts.
I just know from this business who I was 5 years ago as opposed to who I am now. I'm just getting started, Mondo. Just getting started.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. I love it. That is beautiful. That's speaking to a lot of people. People need to hear that, man. And I don't care what industry you're in. whether it be
Yeah.
self-doubt, if you're JLB or maybe as a parent, as a spouse, as a friend, as a whatever vocation, people need to hear that. That's
I
phenomenal.
mean,
Mm,
it's, I remember looking at the man in the mirror, like a year after I was in this business, and I didn't like the man that I saw. Right.
yeah.
And it wasn't because I wasn't good at my job. It was just because it was that little lack of confidence that I didn't believe in myself yet.
Mm, mm.
Yet.
Okay, there it is. So it's possible. It's
Hmm.
possible to believe in yourself.
Yeah. And you can
Okay.
continue to learn how to do that. You
Yeah.
can learn how to do that.
Yeah. Association
Right.
associations are important. Obviously, there's a lot of things. There's a whole nother call we can get into about how we've learned how to be good and great with ourselves, right?
Hmm.
Comfortable in your own skin.
That's right.
And I will tell you, man, and as we depart out of here, your growth, and I think I'm speaking to myself and everyone really, not everyone is okay with your growth.
Mm-mm.
A lot of
That's okay.
people see you where they put you. And even though where they put you, you've moved on and you're up the street, but they still got you in that little slot.
Yeah. And
And for
that's where
some,
they want you to stay.
and everywhere they want you to stay. And that makes people uncomfortable versus saying, you know what, I see the growth, man. Good for you, man. Wow. Let me watch the movie of Mike Medley or Mondo Grimes or Johnny, whatever. Let me watch your movie versus no, yeah, you're the star. This is my movie, and you're gonna stay right here because that's what I'm comfortable with. That kind of stuff, man. Get away from them kind of toxic people.
Hmm.
The immature, childish, and honestly, it's time for them to get out off the exit, straight up, and you keep it moving. Look, there's about 300 million people, 330 million people in America. That one or two people that we talking about ain't that important. There's more, you got more options out there. Okay.
I already know, bro.
They ain't that deep, bro. Straight up. You ain't that
Mm-mm.
important.
That's
So,
right.
man, Mike, thank you so much, man, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us, man. Hey, this almost about to be the Eminem podcast. Forget AMG, you know what I'm saying?
Bring it back, baby.
Hey, man, that's it. That's it. So, dude, man, thank you for your words of wisdom, your heart, your story, man. We appreciate you so much, dude. I will definitely have you back on. I'm gonna have you on, man, to co-host and talk to some other good people from the industry as we chop it up and we learn. We learn in life together. We grow together, right? And we
Hmm.
do life together. All right,
That's
Mike.
right.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, dude.
Hey, Mondo, thank you and AWG, baby.
But do you say AWG, man? Come on now.
AMG, baby.
Okay.
AMG. That's what I meant. AMG, baby.
Okay,
AMG
maybe
on the
it was a
radio,
signal.
baby.
My man. I love it, dude. But thank you, Mike. We'll catch up soon. Hey, if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, definitely turn your notifications on. That way, when we drop new content, you are the first to be notified. So, like I said to Mike, we can grow together. We can learn in life together and do life together. All right. Thanks for joining the AMG podcast. We will see you on the next episode. Later.
Thank you. Peace out.